Hey everyone, so I'm going to share with you here some ION WNBA national and regional and local broadcasts for the WNBA. So the ION now is doing local games where it's only available in the pretty immediate area of the team's viewing area for the team's normal viewing area for the cable broadcasts. That is the local. The regional is more of a East Coast, West Coast, maybe a couple of states. Thing. And then the national is obviously national. And we have Connecticut Sun versus Minnesota Lynx is the national game. Obviously, that's the only game on 7:30 Eastern. 10 Eastern on the 23rd is Phoenix Mercury versus Seattle Storm. And then you got Friday night games on 10 Eastern, you got the Washington Mystics versus Las Vegas Aces and Golden State Valkyries versus Los Angeles Sparks. 2 regional games. There's 2 national. And then the 30th, we have Connecticut Sun versus Indiana Fever at 7:30 Eastern. That's a national game. And the local game is New York Liberty versus Washington Mystics. Then the national game is Los Angeles Sparks versus Las Vegas Aces. It's Eastern. Then we have 2 regional games, Land Dream versus Seattle Storm and Minnesota Lynx versus Phoenix Mercury. On Friday, June 6th, we have Land Dream versus Connecticut Sun, 7:30 Eastern, and 9:30 Eastern, Los Angeles Sparks versus Dallas Wings National. On the 13th, there's 2 national games only. In the Chicago Sky versus Land Dream, Dallas Wings versus Las Vegas Aces. On the 20th, Seattle Storm versus Las Vegas Aces at 10 Eastern is a national game. And it's to be determined which is the national game and which is the regional game. So far it seems like it's Washington Mystics versus Land Dream. It could be Dallas Wings versus Connecticut Sun. Depends on record-wise. Then Friday, June 27th, they have 2 games on Minnesota Lynx versus Land Dream, and Indiana Fever versus Dallas Wings at 7:30 Eastern. Chicago Sky versus Golden State Valkyries, New York Liberty versus Phoenix Mercury, Connecticut Sun versus Seattle Storm at 10 Eastern time. And then we have Land Dream versus Indiana Fever, Connecticut Sun versus Seattle Storm, and Phoenix Mercury versus New York, and on the 11th, and Phoenix Mercury versus New York Liberty at 7:30 Eastern, and Las Vegas Aces versus Minnesota Lynx at 7:30 Eastern on the 25th. There's none on July 4th, as it's 4th of July, and a bunch of games are being played on Thursday. A bunch of be on the ION slate, or being played on Thursday instead, to give the to have the day off for 4th of July. Sometimes they don't do that, but they've done that before. Unfortunately, last year they did, but that fell on a Thursday. But they're doing it this year on the no games on Friday this year, on July 4th this year. They aren't. Last year they had, but that's the only reason they had games last year on there was because it was ION. It was because it was on Amazon, and part of the Amazon package thing. That's the only reason. Otherwise, ION probably was okay with having no games on the full Earth. And then on the 11th, they have 2 games. They have back to the games. And then July 18th, there's no games. That is because it is All-Star Weekend. And they're going to have games on Friday for All-Star Weekend. They're going to have games on Wednesday. The last games are Wednesday, I want to say. And Thursday is the day off. And Friday will be All-Star Weekend, All-Star festivities for the 3-point contest, the skills challenge, and stuff like that. And then Saturday will be the final day of the WNBA, of the All-Star game. And Sunday will be off, and then we'll probably be back to regular games. There's only some weeks that have local game. Some weeks. The 6th, the 13th. There's some, times where there's only one on. And I do like that they have all the games on ION. And I do like that they have a national game for people to view. If you live in an area without any WNBA teams, or any nearby WNBA teams, or even the regional broadcasts, for people who live, nearby to like states with WNBA teams, like or like pro sports teams, like maybe New Mexico gets the Phoenix Mercury game, stuff like that. So, or maybe like Iowa or North South Dakota get the Minnesota Lynx game, or even Wisconsin. I like that they kind of regionalize it a little bit too, And then there's some weeks without any game, but there's national games. But so that is it for the Friday night WNBA showcase on Ion. Since they have so many games being played at once, they do like the local, regional, and national games. And they also do other game things. Like they do, like Ion does. Ion does do more than just like that. They do WNBA, they do NWSL for sports as well. I believe they do the script spelling bee. Used to be on ESPN or whatever. The script spelling bee, a national competition. And now they do this. They're done with the script spelling bee. They do Ion does that. They do I'm not sure who does the hot dog eating contest. I think that's Ion. I could be wrong though. On that one. Though. I know Ion does the script spelling bee though. I know that one. And I know they do NWSL. In the NWSL, since they only have one game a week, each team does in soccer. They do national games, a couple of national games. They do have games that are like localized, like every game is national essentially because it's on NWSL Plus. You can do it. All these teams are signing deals now in NWSL with like local broadcasters. They air the games locally, and then they're having them also NWSL Plus, and then they're having one Ion Day is like Saturday. They are doing it to where it is that one game is only on the time. They're not doing it to where like if a game like overlaps, like say one game starts at like 7:30 Eastern. They're not doing it 7:30 East, and then there might be one that starts at another one, two on at 7:30 Eastern. Only one is on Ion as a national game. The other is not even on Ion as a regional or like local game. It is on as a NWSL Plus game. And I wouldn't be surprised if eventually they get to do like the WNBA does. But I think though the WNBA wanted to make every game accessible over the air on Ion. It's kind of like a good faith deal. They're essentially doing with the WNBA is essentially doing like a good faith deal with Ion because Ion could be doing other things. Like Ion could not be doing that. They could just have like the other games on like local broadcasters and then WNBA League Pass. But they're not though. They're just doing like good faith deals with the WNBA because this is one of their deals like ESPN they have a deal with for NBA, WNBA. They have, and soon to be Amazon, NBA, WNBA starting in 2025-26 season. And then actually when the Ion, when Amazon has their own deal with dual deal with NBA, WNBA, it'll be like Amazon will have their own broadcasters, own announcers, like broadcasters, and they'll have their own production. And then NBC is getting a deal with the NBA and WNBA. They're going to air some games, NBA games, on NBC and Peacock. And then I believe with the WNBA deal, some of the games will air on NBC. I think some will air on, if I'm not mistaken, some will air on USA Network. Because I know they're spinning off like some of these cable networks. So a lot of these cable networks that are having like sports, like USA Network, a lot of them are going to, or certain channels that are having sports, they're still keeping the same deals. Like they're honoring the part, like if NBC signed a deal with, like NBC Sports signed a deal with, like, say the Olympics, through 2030 on, say, in the Olympics and Paralympics, say through like 2030 to have them on NBC, like USA Network, CNBC, and E for the regular Olympics. You know, they're going to have like, and then like USA Network, CNBC for the Paralympics. During, on the weekends, and then NBC will have it Paralympics coverage, like maybe a little bit during the weekends or Friday night or something, and then they have more like reruns type based things. It's kind of like that, like like they're like the other network. It's part of the deal with the channels, have acquiring the channels. You have to air the sports, and then those, and then they might have it, and they might try to like the spin-off channel might try to have their own sports deals. They might try to have their own sports deals, like exclusive to them. They can acquire, or they might have some like good, like some deals, some joint partnerships, and just continue the joint partnership deal with some things on like they might just NBC could have the same deals. They might just have like the sports spin-offs on another channel, like instead of like USA Network. Do they have E or Bravo or other channels? They might just go to like those channels instead. So yeah, I kind of like how they do it. The WNBA having every game is like good faith thing, and wanting to increase the viewership, taking less money, but having like more overall viewership, and seen as a net positive because Ion, when knows that like, hey, we're we're having good viewership on Friday nights during the WNBA season across all the games combined. We're having decent viewership. I mean, yeah, you might only get like nationally, you might get 500,000 viewers. Then the regional games, say they get another 100,000 apiece. That's 700,000 viewers, across the games. The 3 games, say 3 games, like the 10 Easterns. And it's a win-win. Ion gets, viewership, good decent ad revenue, more, they are not getting they're still getting ad revenue during the non-times, but it's not like that good of ad revenue now. They can get more ad revenue, get better ad sponsors than just like the same basic ad sponsors. And they still have a lot of paid programming on at night. And this is a way for them to say, hey, we can get out of like the paid programming phase slowly, I like that, So, I think it's gonna take a while for them to like do well, but I like that they have the script sports, like the scripts, some affiliates, some affiliates on their own are choosing to have like local sports teams, like college sports teams, like college football, college men's, women's, college basketball, like college, like a lot of college sports teams on there. That they, and then a lot of script sports affiliates are also choosing to have like, not all, like some script sports affiliates are choosing to have like over the air deals with like pro sports teams, like the rights that like the FanDuel Sports Network, mainly a FanDuel Sports Network that used to be Bally Sports Network. Some of them are dropping like NBA, NHL teams, or some teams are choosing to leave on their own with the uncertainty of FanDuel Sports Network. Now, so they're having that, which they're choosing to, or some of them might be, or they're choosing like, hey, we're gonna take a little bit less money but get more viewers, or they're choosing air select games on, NBA, NHL, like, and and especially NBA, NHL, they're having the whole package over. Like the MLB is just doing like direct consumer streaming service with some airing on there, but I wouldn't be surprised if depends on how it goes. Maybe it's a year by year trial basis. Maybe however it's going. Do the more. Some of the minor league teams may be airing on regular TV more. Or if they're flopping. It's something like that. Who knows? But I like that. So it's just I like that. I am just getting into sports. So college, Division I college, pro sports team, and then pro sports teams near a lot of Division I college teams. So I like that, I do like that, So it's not like the big college sports teams that have deals with like the conferences have deals with that. It's more of like an add-on deal. Or like maybe like they'll have a deal, and then they'll maybe like over the air rights deal, and then they'll also have like a streaming rights deal, like the whole conference will. So